So let's get started on soldering up these stepper motors. And again, you want to make sure all the legs are sticking out on the back. If you start soldering, you notice that one of the legs are not coming through, you'll pretty much have to desolder it again. Kind of give it a visual inspection, make sure all the stepper motors are flush. And then we're just going to start soldering it up. And make sure that the solder is fully surrounding the leg sticking out. You got plenty of solder. You don't need too much, just a little bit. They're all in place. And what we're going to do is just do a little cleaning and just make sure any kind of gunk or residue or any kind of solder balls that were spewing out when we were soldering are fully cleaned off. There's some of that debris. And now we're going to solder the bulbs. But before we do that, we want to add a little bit more solder on here. So I'm just going up and soldering. Notice that there's two larger pads and two smaller ones. The two smaller pads are just dummy pads. What we use is the same style bulb, 12 volt incandescent bulb. What I'm doing is just soldering them on, making sure that the solder is fully on top of that solder and just kind of pointing them up. It's important if you're using these kind of bulbs that the legs are in between the housing are not shorting out or touching. So if you look closely in here, you want to make sure that the bulbs are not touching, or the legs are not touching on the bottom base of that bulb. Just going to touch up these resistors in this area. Some of these resistors are pretty loose. You want to make sure they're centered. The bulbs are installed, and again, you want to make sure you clean out any area where you solder. Just be really careful. I'm kind of putting my hand over the LCD screens, make sure none of that alcohol gets through. And we can power it up right now to see what it looks like. And now you have all the lights are working. And to test the housing, this housing is a little bit dirty. This will just show you that the stepper motors are working properly. Calibration on these. If you're installing them, make sure that they're all stopping either on the line, first line, or 1 or 2 millimeters below. And as you can see, when we power it up, and there you have it. These gauges are a little bit high. We're gonna just go here. A little bit lower here, a little bit up here. And if the gauges are a little bit too low, you want to, rotate it clockwise. We're going to fix this one up. This one was too low, so we're going to go the other way. We're going to just bring it up. And there you have it. That's how you replace the stepper motors on a GM 03 to 06. This encompasses the GMC, the Cadillac Escalade, the Hummer H2, any of the Chevrolet trim model pickup trucks or SUVs for that year. If you have any questions, just let us know, and I'll be more than happy to repair these for you. What we would do is we would go over the entire board, take care of any kind of power issues, language scrolling. If you have odometer error, please let us know what the last known mileage was, because it's under warranty and it's part of the repair, but we would have to put new hardware and reprogram it. Basically, when you have the odometer error, the mileage is already lost inside the cluster. It's no longer stored in there, so that it has to have additional hardware parts replaced and reprogrammed. Take note of that if you have odometer error showing on your instrument cluster. And if that odometer error is intermittent, then it's on its way to failing, so make sure to include a note when you send it in, checking online, UpFix.com. Hopefully this was helpful. Let us know in the comments below if you have any other questions or concerns. Like and subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next time. Take care.